Win on three. 1, 2, 3, win. Welcome to Pregame Central, presented by Pepsi. I'm Eric Allen, running the one back set inside our BetMGM studio. But there is the man who's ready to resume the action today. That, of course, is Sam Darnold. Jamison Crowder entering MetLife Stadium. Breshad Perriman as well. And finally, Jets tight end Chris Herndon making his way into MetLife today. It is the Jets and the Dolphins on a beautiful day for football there at MetLife Stadium. I'm running the one back set inside the BetMGM studio. Going to be joined, as always, by Anthony Becht and Eric Coleman. Later, we'll go out to the stadium and check in with Ethan Greenberg. We're also going to hear from Olivia Landis. But the Jets, 0-10, hosting the Miami Dolphins, who are 6-4 right now, trying to get themselves into playoff positioning. As I bring in Eric and Anthony. Eric, this is a great opportunity for the Jets because one-possession games the last 2 times out, losses to the Patriots and the Chargers, and you're facing a divisional opponent in the Dolphins who've won 5 out of 6 games.
Absolutely. It's a great opportunity for the Jets. Everyone knows once you play a division rival, all bets are off. Anything can go. There's so much familiarity with both of the teams. And the Jets, with the full receiving core this week, Sam Darnold being back in the fold, this is a great opportunity for them to put their best foot forward, beat a division foe at home, and come out of here with the win.
Anthony, the gang is all here because Sam Darnold's going to line up with Mekhi Becton at left tackle. Becton did not play when these two teams met in October in South Florida. All the 3 receivers have played together the past 2 games. So I kind of say you got to throw out that first game, a 24-0 shutout win for the Miami Dolphins, because the Jets are better equipped offensively this time around.
Yeah, no question. I mean, it's an exciting day to see all these weapons, like Eric was talking about, be on the field together. You know, you look at Sam Darnold, here's a guy who's chomping at the bit to get back, trying to get a few extra games under his belt to heal up. He's 100% now, so we'll get to see the best of him. And I think we need to see all of his so-called weapons that he has internally as far as what he brings to the table, not just his arms, but with his legs. He can run today. You know, you don't want to have him take any shots. Be a smart runner. Be effective. We saw some big plays when he was playing prior, the Denver game, that long run. Those are the kind of things that can help this offense be effective. And when you have to worry about his movement skills with those receiving core, that's going to pay dividends for this football team. And hopefully versus a stingy Dolphins defense now, it kind of keeps them on the heels as far as what they have to defend versus the offense.
Eric, a lot to get to off of those points. The Jets are averaging an NFL low 15 points per game, but they've scored at least 3 touchdowns in each of their past 2 games against the Chargers and the New England Patriots. Do you think Sam Darnold could have learned a couple things from watching Joe Flacco operate the offense, especially the way he incorporated those 2 threats on the outside in Breshad Perriman and Denzel Mims? Because earlier in the year and throughout Darnold's career, we've seen a reliance on Jamison Crowder, who's a great slot receiver, but now you're seeing guys develop on the outside.
Yeah, I think this is a great opportunity for Sam to sit back and watch a veteran quarterback run this offense. We all have to remember that Sam is a very young quarterback. You know, he doesn't have very much experience in this league, as much as he's gone out there and played. But to go out there and see Joe Flacco operate the offense, take deep shots, distribute the ball around the field, I think there's a lot to be learned for Sam Darnold. And hopefully he can take some of those lessons out there today and apply them. You know, understand that I can throw that deep ball to Breshad Perriman. He's going to come down with it. Denzel Mims is a very feisty receiver who's going to fight for balls. He's going to, he can run intermediate routes. He can do the deep shots. And also I always have Jamison Crowder, who's my closest friend. So, it's great to see Joe Flacco for Sam Darnold out there running the offense. It gives you a different perspective, and it's going to help the young quarterback.
Anthony, how do you want Darnold to get into rhythm here earlier in the game? Because he's been honest about it. He said, you hear the outside noise. You can't escape it. The Jets 0-10 right now. a lot of their fans are talking draft already, whereas Sam Darnold's got to look at these 6 games as a great opportunity for himself, finally with an offense that feels well equipped to handle these last 6 games.
Well, he should feel a lot more confident. He should feel that the timing will be on point. You know, when you're playing with backup third string practice squad receivers, and no disrespect to those guys, but you're not, getting the work that you put in with those players throughout the offseason and really in training camp to have the trust to make sure they're in the right spots because of the movement of the different players. Now I believe you have the timing, you have the trust, and have the ability to go out there and know a guy is going to be at 14 yards coming back on the comeback. He's going to be at 8 yards at the sticks when you need him on the first down. And I think we'll see a little more injection of Crowder in this game as well. Mims has been fantastic as far as Perryman as well, being on the deep ball and catching the football one-on-one and those 50-50 balls, which are going to help Sam today. But Crowder's going to be that favorite target for Sam, intermediate routes, third down conversions. And, of course, let's not forget about Herndon coming off probably his best game of the year. You're talking about 4 guys at his disposal. I mean, listen, Sam has to peak today, play well. I don't expect him to be rusty. Last time he missed a few games, bounced back. He was very effective. I expect him to be dialed in and have a big game.
The Jets are 0-10 for the first time in franchise history. Those questions about 0-16 will continue the longer it goes. The guys have been honest about that. They don't want to talk about it anymore. They don't want to answer those questions. And you just feel like right now that this team is close to getting over that hump the way they played the last 2 weeks.
Absolutely. I mean, if you watch this team, especially the defense, the way they fly around, for 4 quarters every week, yes, they may make some mistakes, but they're playing physical. They're playing with passion. Offensively, they're doing all the things that you need to do to win a game. They just have not come up with the win. And eventually, if you keep doing things the right way, keep believing in your coordinators, keep believing in the coaching, then it's going to happen. These guys, it's a big elephant in the room. They want to get this off their back. They want to get this win out of the way so they can stop talking about it, move on from it, and just focus on playing ball, because it does become a small distraction in itself. When you keep talking about going 0-16, when you're a player who has a lot of pride and takes pride in what you do out there on the field.
So a late game audible for this one, guys. We were thinking the Jets were going to be playing a rookie quarterback for the 2nd consecutive week. But no. It is Ryan Fitzpatrick again in the saddle for the Miami Dolphins. What does that mean for the Jets defensively, Anthony? Greg Williams was open about it on Friday. He said that we prepared for both of those guys. Tua Tagovailoa, a guy who's had 6 touchdown passes, 0 interceptions so far, but he really struggled last week against the Broncos. Less than 100 yards passing, was sacked 6 times. There's Fitzpatrick talking to Jets offensive coordinator Dal Loggins right now. He's seen everything in the NFL. So he's a guy who can read things pre-snap, and he's also going to take some more chances down the field.
Well, what the Dolphins want to do with Tua early on when his first couple starts was the quick passing game. Get the ball out of his hand, be effective. The use of movement passes as well, so that, he had a two-way go. The pass is not there, he can use his legs. In the Broncos game, what they tried to do was open up the offensive playbook a little bit. It didn't quite work. The timing wasn't there. He wasn't able to find receivers. His offensive line played terribly. He wasn't protected, 6 sacks, and they couldn't run the ball effectively. That's a recipe for disaster, and, of course, the injury happened as well. Fitzpatrick, though, comes in. Here's the difference, guys. Fitzpatrick is a guy that, you got everything open in the playbook. All the receivers are available to him as far as who he can go to. A little bit of a wild card guy as far as the risk taking. It's very high. He goes for high risk stuff. When he came into the football game, had 2 balls, 1 intercepted, another one that should have been intercepted by the Broncos. It was dropped. But, man, he carved a couple passes in there that Tua probably isn't going to take those chances and going to go down to the secondary receivers. So secondary's on call today. A lot of young players back there. They have to read and see them. And another thing that Fitzpatrick brings to the table is he's athletic. He's able to get mobility. There was a couple organized quarterback runs in the football game in the second half when he was in there. So don't fall asleep on his ability to extend and run as well. Puts the defense in a predicament now, again, as far as, what you want to defend and those decision-making processes, when to commit to the run and also to stay on to the pass.
Eric, what do you want to see Williams do as far as that play calling today. You got to mix up coverages against a veteran quarterback, but you do have that young secondary, green secondary. Bryce Hall going to make his second NFL start. Lamar Jackson, of course, on the outside as well. You got Arthur Millette playing that nickel position. Fellas, when I think of the Dolphins offensively and Fitzpatrick back in the lineup, my mind automatically goes to Devontae Parker. That means he's going to get more targets. There's no doubt about that. And then also, Mike Gesicki is one of the finer pass-catching tight ends in the National Football League. So, what do you do against Fitzpatrick if you're Greg Williams?
Well, that's a great question. Ryan Fitzpatrick is, he's so seasoned. He understands different coverages. He understands disguises. So basically, you're going to have to mix things up. And to go back to what Anthony was saying about Tua, I mean, I remember days playing against young quarterbacks where our defensive coordinator said, listen, usually we want to get the main quarterback out of the game, but this is a young guy. We want to keep him up, help him up, do whatever you can do to keep him in the game because he's going to give you opportunities. You can fool them into mistakes as a young quarterback, as we've seen with Tua. Going back to that Chargers game, the Broncos game, there were some interceptions that he should have thrown that were dropped. He's going to give you an opportunity. But when you have a guy like Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's seasoned, who's a risk taker, he's a little bit, it makes you uncomfortable as a coordinator as to what you can do. So if I'm the Jets, I'm going to play a lot of zone. I have some young defensive backs out there. I understand that Devontae Parker and company love to run the crossing routes. They love to run vertical cross-country routes over the top. There's going to have to be a great communication, play a lot of zone, and try to get pressure with 4.
Let's stay right there. We're watching Sam Darnold warm up. You are watching Pregame Central presented by Pepsi. I wanted to ask you, Anthony, about Darnold today in this Dolphins defense. Throughout his career, he's 1-3 against Miami, 4 touchdown passes, 8 interceptions, and he's been under duress a lot of times. What is Miami going to try to do? Because their numbers aren't great across the board, but where their numbers are excellent, they don't give up a lot of points. 4th in the NFL in terms of scoring defense. They're great on 3rd down, and they take the football away.
Yeah, you're right. Listen, this is one of the more better improved defenses in the NFL. Flores has done a great job. What you're going to see is you're going to have your offensive line and Sam are going to have to be on the same page on 3rd down. I call it an amoeba look defense. Eric, you may have a different name for it, but everybody's going to be standing up, moving around. That's been implemented the last couple of weeks. So it's hard to figure out who the guy is that you actually got to protect. So you're really going to have to hone in on that protection and make sure you pick up the proper players. The back may have to take an extra second to make sure. And then also they're going to bring, 7 guys at the line of scrimmage and they're going to mix it up there. They're either going to bring them all double A gap blitz or, they could pull a guy out and only rush for 4. So listen, they're not going to sit back on their heels. Very aggressive, a lot of man-to-man. Receivers are going to have to be strong, fast, get off of coverage, and there's going to be some tight window throws down the sidelines. There's going to be some opportunities. Can you be accurate as a quarterback, and can you hold off that protection and find out and figure out who your guy is when they come at you and coordinate it up front? If they can do that, there's plays to be made. If not, it's going to be a scary proposition for Sam in the backfield. He'll have to be mobile if that's the case.
Yeah, and you mentioned before, Anthony, and Eric, that's something I wanted to talk with you about was Miami gives up yards on the ground, and the Jets got very good push early against the Chargers. Frank Gore, of course, their primary back right now. Unfortunately for this team, LaMichael Pirine out with a high ankle sprain, but we'll probably see a lot of Ty Johnson today. Josh Adams promoted to the active roster. Ty Johnson is a guy who can fly, but it'd be good to have some kind of balance, Eric, against this defense that thrives on 3rd down, getting you in 3rd and longs.
Absolutely. And when Anthony was talking about that defense where the Miami Dolphins put everyone on the line of scrimmage to try to disguise, are they going to bring everybody? Are they going to drop back into coverage? What that does, the weakness of that defense is that you're susceptible against the run. You can get a hat for a hat fairly easy. And if you're able to find a crease, those running backs usually create some big plays. So I think it's going to be important for the Jets, when the Dolphins bring that pressure, when they give that look of everyone on the line of scrimmage, run the ball. Don't shy away from it. The Dolphins want to get you into third down and long so they can put all the exotic blitzes in. They can drop back into coverage and try to confuse your quarterback. Running the football is still imperative in this game. And a guy like Ty Johnson, who's a home run hitter, will definitely be able to find a crease if he can do that. We played that same defense against the New England Patriots back in '07. We ended up surprising them. We won the game, but we came back in the wild card and lost in the playoffs with that same defense because the Patriots knew how to attack us, and that was running the football. So if the Jets can run the ball against that defense, then they'll be very successful.
Kickoff for Jets Dolphins is 1 o'clock at MetLife Stadium. Bob Wischusen and Marty Lyons will handle the radio call on ESPN 98.7 here in New York. And Olivia Landis caught up with Marty for this latest installment of From the Broadcast Booth.
Marty, this will be the second time this season that the Jets and Dolphins will match up. The first time that they met, the Jets obviously took that loss against the Dolphins. But what can they take from that first matchup and learn and apply it in Sunday's game?
Well, I think, first of all, Olivia, that when you look at the first time that they had a matchup back in October down in Miami, it was Joe Flacco starting for the first time. Everything was all new. I don't think that he was acclimated to Adam Gaze's offense. But I think what you have to do is build off the last 2 weeks. They played well against the New England Patriots. They played well last week against the Chargers. Unfortunately, they lost both of those games, but I think they have something to build on now.
Speaking of quarterback Joe Flacco, you saw that he had some success with the starting 3 receivers in Denzel Mims, Jamison Crowder, and Brashad Perriman. What does that trio bring to the offense that we might be able to see against the Dolphins this week?
Well, I think, number one, it brings the timing. I think if Joe Flacco has the time, he still has the arm strength to throw the ball deep, and it's going to open it up if you go vertically down the field. And throw into the mix if Chris Herndon or Ryan Griffin can be more productive at the tight end position, a little bit more play action, bring those safeties up into the box, then I think it's going to open up that deep threat.
You mentioned the safeties. One of those safeties is young Ashton Davis, but he's not the only rookie that has seen a lot of playing time as of late. You see cornerback Bryce Hall. A lot of rookies have been thrown into the mix on the defensive side of the ball. What can this youthful defense do to stop a quarterback like Tua, since last time they faced Ryan Fitzpatrick?
Well, number one, you got to play the defense that Greg Williams calls in. Number two, you're going to make mistakes. It's not a big deal. Just go out there and learn from your mistake. I was very impressed with the way the rookies played last week. Davis has played well. I was really impressed with Bryce Hall. I thought he played well. Lamar Jackson, he struggled at times. But the only way to learn in the NFL is to get in there, see the action, make mistakes, see what works, what doesn't work. In reality, you've got to find out if they're going to be a part of this rebuild, if they're going to be a part of the 2021 roster, how good they are. Where can you complement them with the draft? Where can you complement these players with free agency?
Thanks, Marty. I appreciate your time.
Okay, Olivia, anytime.
You are watching Pregame Central presented by Pepsi. Eric Allen all by myself inside the BetMGM studio, joined as always by Anthony Becht and Eric Coleman. Fellas, as the world continues to deal with COVID-19, what do you think about what's happening with the National Football League? Not just for the New York Jets. The Jets, fortunately, so far have been one of the lucky teams, but the NFL, Anthony, Monday and Tuesday, nobody's coming to their respective facilities.
Yeah, it's interesting. COVID has been on the rise, obviously, nationally, but it seems to be infiltrating the teams and the players. I did see that memo about Monday and Tuesday. I'm actually going to be on the national call for the Steelers-Ravens game. I'm not quite sure where the Ravens are going to play in this football game yet. They got over 20 guys not available because of COVID, and it continues to grow. So, it's going to be tight. I'm sure the NFL right now is a little stressed just because bye weeks are starting to end, and it's tough to find those windows to play. So it'll be interesting to see. But, listen, the majority of the teams are good this morning, which is good to see. And the players look like they're just going to have to hone in and be just more accountable and responsible throughout this winter.
Eric, I got to say, I'm very thankful we are having NFL football here a couple days after Thanksgiving. There's no doubt about that. It just caught my eye, fellas. Last night, I'm driving in a car, and they said reports out there that Denver Broncos aren't going to have any active quarterbacks today. So if you're a Jets fan, you're awfully happy that Sam Darnold is going to be throwing a football.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at the Denver Broncos situation, and their whole quarterback room was in close contact or got COVID. And what do you do in that situation? They're going to bring up a receiver who played quarterback in college to play quarterback in the National Football League, which is going to be very interesting to say the least. But, I think you have to give credit to the NFL for trying to do as best they can to keep these protocols alive, and give a shout out to the Jets and their staff and the players for being responsible, doing the right measures, keeping everyone healthy and able to go out there and play and so we can watch this game that we all love.
Yeah, accountability is huge in all of this. Let's get to our monster matchups and go right back to our safety, Eric Coleman. Who are you looking at today?
Well, you know me, I'm a former safety, so I have to I love that safety quarterback matchup. So I'm going to go with Marcus May and Ryan Fitzpatrick. This is a big game of chess. There's going to be a lot of disguises that have to be had. Marcus is going to have to come down to the box and maybe prevent Ryan Fitzpatrick from running the football. Try to double team some receivers that he has a tendency to lean on. So it's going to be a big chess match between these two, and I'm interested to see what happens at the end of the game.
Before we get to Anthony, what have you thought about Ashton Davis? We saw him break into the starting lineup against the Kansas City Chiefs, and I thought over the last 2 weeks against the Patriots and the Chargers, his play has progressively gotten better.
Absolutely, and what a tough way to enter the league and playing against the Kansas City Chiefs offense. But Ashton Davis has done a great job every game, every week. He's continued to get better and seems to get more comfortable in that position. He's being physical against the run. I love the way he tackles. He's obviously very athletic in coverage, does a great job of covering ground in the zones. He's really coming to his own, and I think that the Jets found a really good player in Ashton Davis, and he's only going to get better as the season goes.
Yeah, excuse me. I think I just referred to the Chargers as the San Diego Chargers. I can't get it out of my head. Of course, it's the Los Angeles Chargers. Anthony, let's go over to you. What have you put under your spotlight today?
Yeah, I think it's going to be the Jet receivers. They're all intact. Perryman, Crowder, Mims, these guys have started to build some rapport with each other now. The defenses are having a little more stress, and it's a great matchup versus the corners. Howard, Byron Jones. Howard's got 6 picks, had a pick last week. Byron Jones, one of the highest paid cornerbacks in the league, and of course Needham in the slot. I mean, these guys are formidable. They're very good. They attack the ball. They take risks. I think, the opportunities will be there on those 50-50 balls. You've seen Mims now step up and be very good against those type of throws. And Perryman has that speed to run by. And if they're in press coverage, he's got a chance to do that. And then, of course, with Crowder on the inside, can he get his open space? Maybe teams are forgetting about him right now since he hasn't had the output and Flacco hadn't gone with him. I can promise you that Sam is going to look for him in this game. So that's a key monster matchup in this game.
Mims is the 6th receiver over the past 7 years in the National Football League to start his career with at least 40 yards receiving in 4 consecutive games. Step up in class today against those Dolphins cornerbacks. Xavier Howard, a ball hawk, 6 interceptions. Byron Jones, the highest paid cornerback in the National Football League. But and the Jets did have some opportunities early in that first meeting. Joe Flacco narrowly missing Brashad Perryman. I'm going to go on the other side of the ball, fellas. This Miami Dolphins offensive line, as Anthony pointed out before, dealing with a lot of injuries. And I like what the Jets have going for them in the middle of their defensive line. Quinnen Williams, 10 run stuffs this season, are the 2nd most in the NFL among defensive tackles, and he ranks 3rd among all NFL defensive linemen in successful run stop percentage. The other thing that he does, he pushes that pocket so Ryan Fitzpatrick won't have the ability to settle in there and feel comfortable because Quinnen Williams is going to be all over Ted Karras and whoever the Dolphins have lining up at the guard position, because they're dealing with a lot of injuries up front as well. I like that rotation with Quinnen Williams, Lorenzo Fatukasi has been terrific on the interior. John Franklin Myers is stepping up, but we know Ryan Fitzpatrick likes to get rid of that football early. Anthony, I can't see the Dolphins having any success running the football against these Jets today.
Well, it'll be important to keep something and take away something from the Dolphins offense. I think that would be the key to make them one-sided. The more Fitzpatrick throws, the more opportunities you're going to have in coverage to really, intercept him and force those turnovers. I would play, listen, there's certain quarterbacks I wouldn't do it with. I would play a little more coverage with Fitzpatrick, just because he likes to force those balls in those tight windows. Maybe the secondary can bait him in to a couple areas. Fitzy's good about reading coverages, but he does want those big plays that are tough that quarterbacks normally wouldn't go to, and he will do that. If the pressure is called up, just be prepared for the movement. Fitzy's been able to get some of those first downs with his legs. He's not scared to dive forward instead of sliding. And, he'll be out there chewing that piece of gum the whole game, trying to make plays. The Jets defense has to go find a way to hit him.
Sam Darnold going to make his 7th start for the green and white this season, back in the lineup for the first time in 3 games. For more on today's matchup, let's hear from Jets head coach Adam Gase. Adam, you spend a lot of time answering questions of late. What keeps you up at night? Let's go on the other end of the spectrum. What are you most encouraged about right now?
I think that, we're having moments in the game where offensively we're moving the ball, we're putting more points on the board, we're playing better complementary football, getting a block punt and then transitioning into a touchdown. Like, that's what we're looking to do. We just got to put a full game together. We got to take advantage of, more opportunities that we're getting throughout a game.
What do you point to in terms of the red zone efficiency the last couple games?
Guys making plays. This is not like rocket science. When players make plays, you score points.
The Adam Gase Show airs locally on CBS 2 at 11:30 a.m. and it's also featured on NewYorkJets.com and Jets app. You can check that out as soon as we're done here on Pregame Central, presented by Pepsi. But let's go out to MetLife Stadium and bring in Ethan Greenberg.
All right, EA, appreciate it. I'm in the Commissioners Club, no field in the background, but that's not stopping us from having another edition
Hold on,
In.
stop. You got to invite myself, Anthony, and Eric Coleman over there, wherever you're at.
I got room. I got plenty of room. We got a couple couches. There is a bar somewhere around here. It's just not stocked at the moment because there's no one obviously in the stands. But let's start off with all in or not today. Anthony, we're going to start with you as always. You guys were talking about Denzel Mims before. In each of his 4 games, he's had at least 40 receiving yards. Will he make it 5 for 5 today, Anthony? All in or not today?
Well, Ethan, I thought you were in your living room at your house, which was pretty impressive. I'm all in, man. Guys, listen, this kid's been fantastic. Here's the one caveat. His first couple games, he's had catches in the first half and doesn't get any opportunities in the second. And then against the Chargers, nothing in the first half and a huge second half. How about we get him involved the entire game? Sky's the limit for this kid. He might have over 100 yards.
Anthony, I would love if this were my living room. First of all, spacious. We got some nice leather couches. Very nice. We got 2 big screen TVs. Maybe one day. In the meantime, let's head to Eric Coleman for all in or not today. EC, got to ask you a defensive question as always. Will the Jets, all in or not today, force 2 turnovers against Ryan Fitzpatrick and the Dolphins offense?
Ethan, I'm all in on forcing 2 turnovers for the Jets. The way that this defense has been flying around, Quinnen Williams, Neville Hewitt, they're getting hats on the ball. They're flying to the football. And when you do that, great things happen. And we all know turnovers come in bunches. So once one happens, it's going to be a multiplier, and they're going to have multiple turnovers today. I'm going to go all in with the Jets defense creating 2 or more turnovers.
All right, we got 2 all-ins. Will EA make it 3 for 3? So EA, Sam Darnold returning to action will play his 7th game on the season today. Sam Darnold will throw for at least 2 touchdown passes today for the first time this season. All in or not today?
I do think Sam Darnold will play well. and I do like the Jets' skill position talent around him, with Denzel Mims continuing to take off, Rashad Perriman really finding himself here down the stretch, Jamison Crowder, he's got that connection with Sam Darnold, Chris Herndon's going, Mekhi Becton's playing, and he didn't play the first time out. But I'm going to say not today, because this Dolphins defense, fellas, they've given up 13 touchdowns through the air through 10 games so far this season. I think the Jets can have some success running the football. So maybe when they're inside the 20, you might see Frank Gore get into the end zone. I'll say not today. I'll say Darnold will play well, but he won't have multiple touchdown passes.
All right, so we got 2 all in, 1 not today. BetMGM, the official gaming partner of the New York Jets, is bringing fans a free New York Jets weekly pick'em contest. To enter, just sign up and make predictions on how this week's game will play out. Download the Jets app today for a chance to win an MGM Resorts trip package and free bets at BetMGM Sports. You can play free for every week. You have to be 21 years or older. Restrictions do apply. Visit BetMGM.com for a full list of terms and conditions. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Let's move on to fearless predictions now. So I'm going to kick things off. Then we'll hear from Anthony and we'll go around the horn. Eric Coleman was talking about the 2 turnovers for this Jets defense. I'm a big fan. So I'm going to say the Jets' 2 turnovers that Eric Coleman is predicting, the Jets rookies will somehow be involved, whether that's an interception maybe from Bryce Hall, maybe it's a fumble recovery like Ashton Davis against the Chargers, maybe Bryce Huff strip sack. So I'm going the Jets will have 2 turnovers and both will involve the rookies somehow. What do you think about that, Anthony Becht?
I like it, man. That'd be huge for the defense today. Listen, I'm going against EA on his not today. I think Sam Darnold is going to go out there and go 250 and rip it for 2 touchdowns. It's a fearless prediction, but I'm pretty confident. He's been pretty good bouncing back from adversity, coming back from injuries, playing well. I expect him to have a big game. I want him to have a big game. He deserves it. He's got all his weapons intact. Let's see what it looks like, guys. I'm excited to see them all on the field together today.
I'm excited to see that as well. And to make Sam's job that much easier, they're going to need a run game. So my fearless prediction is that Ty Johnson and Frank Gore are going to combine for over 150 rushing yards today and have a successful day on the ground.
150. That is a fearless prediction.
Left, I'm sure, right?
I'm going to say this is going to be a close ball game, guys. We saw these 2 teams play in South Florida, and it was a one-sided affair, 24-0, Dolphins victory. I think the Jets will be in a 1-possession contest for a 3rd consecutive game. So a nail-biter here at MetLife Stadium. Ethan, thanks as always. Eric and Anthony, we roll on here. Let's take a quick look at the inactives. Let's bring those up. Here is it. Rookie quarterback James Morgan. You have tight end Ross Travis. Offensive lineman Alex Lewis in an active today, and then tackles Juma Adoga and George Fant. So likely you're going to have Connor McDermott starting at right tackle for the New York Jets today. We want to thank everybody. As always, we will see Anthony and Eric for Jets overtime 1 hour after the final whistle. Greg Van Roten recently said the Jets are getting closer. The issue is the Jets are improving, but not at the rate the rest of the league is. Are they improving more than the Miami Dolphins this afternoon? We'll have to see. We'll see it for Jets overtime. Enjoy the ball game.